1 week after an explosion at a retirement community in Aurora that leveled a townhome and killed a woman, Xcel workers still haven't been able to access that site to investigate. They told us they need the Aurora Fire Department to give them the all clear. Xcel told us today that its crews are out there at Heather Gardens and will be until the investigation is complete. They've only been able to observe that home that was destroyed from outside the perimeter. Xcel has previously distanced itself from this email warning to Heather Gardens residents 2 days before the blast. It warned of an unrelated major gas leak and told people, again, just via email, not to light a match. Xcel said they would not suggest an email in that situation. They go door to door to evacuate. And now the Aurora Fire Department is also getting back to us, telling Next that it did not suggest that email warning by Heather Gardens. Inside a closed-door meeting earlier in the week, Heather Gardens residents demanded that life-saving information not be communicated by email in the future. That Heather Gardens explosion happened the night before a fire at another 55-plus community. People are still waiting to return home to the Windermere in Littleton. Got us wondering, if you or someone that you know lives in one of those big complexes, does management have to put together an evacuation plan and share it with those residents? Our Steve Steger checked with the firefighters who responded to the Windermere.
We had an honest moment in our morning meeting today. After discussing all the fires our area has seen lately, most of the people in the room who live in bigger buildings around town admitted they don't know what to do when the worst happens. They've never been told what to do. And it turns out there's a reason for that.
There is no state law that dictates the apartment complex management or you as an individual have to know anything about how to keep yourself safe in a fire.
Nope, says Eric Hurst with South Metro Fire. Technically, the only thing your building is required to do is to make sure everything's up to fire code.
Yeah, law really comes down to fire code, which states things like sprinkler systems if they're required based on the vintage of the structure, or alarm systems that are required, alarms in individual units.
That's not to say apartment buildings don't have plans, but they have no legal requirement to make an evacuation plan or to let you in on it, which means it's really up to you.
The best thing to do is always to know 2 ways out of any living situation that you're in.
Chances are, if you live in one of those bigger buildings on a higher story, there really is only one way out. Then, Hurst says, you've got to be your own advocate.
And that creates a good conversation that you should have with apartment management on what the expectation is, how you'll be notified if there's a fire, and what those instructions might be.
So Hurst says there is one state law that requires staff and management of assisted living facilities plan and practice those kinds of evacuations, but really that's it. So Kyle, it's really a good reminder to the rest of us that we need to know what to do in our own situations, but not saying that apartments don't come up with these plans, just that they aren't required to share them with folks. So maybe it's a good idea to go talk to the people who run your building and say, hey, how do I get out of here?
Ask, see what their plan is and how your family's plan might fit into that. All right, thank you, Steve. Denver has had more hit and run deaths this year than in the last 2 years combined. The latest was last night at MLK in Quebec. Police are still looking for a black or dark colored sedan, possibly a Cadillac. It'll have front end damage and windshield damage. A family member of the people hit tells us that it was a county judge visiting from Alabama and his family. They say that his wife died at the hospital. The judge and his daughter were seriously hurt. Colorado is dealing with more intense wildfires, beetle kill of trees, and water contamination as a result of climate change. That was the finding of a report that the White House buried on this Black Friday when fewer of you are watching us. The report references the 2012 High Park fires, an example of increasingly extreme wildfires in the West. The High Park fire caused air quality to be 7 times worse than average up in Fort Collins, and subsequent storms washed ash and debris down into the city's water supply.
Those strong winds having an effect on air quality also for eastern Colorado today. They'll be dying down tonight, but pick back up again as our next storm system approaches the state. Light snow coming down now in northern and central mountains, but look at wind gusts. They will be staying strong out to the west across our foothills while we see things calm down a bit here for the metro area. When the next system arrives, up to 40-mile-per-hour gusts will return here to the Front Range. That'll be afternoon tomorrow with a chance for rain and snow. Snow also picks up in our mountains through Sunday morning, the southwest mountains could see 6 to 10 new inches of snow, 3 to 6 for places like Craig, Eagle, and Meeker, and then 6 to 10 new inches around places like Granby and Kremling. Winter storm warnings will go through early Sunday along the Continental Divide, 10 to 16 inches of snow there. Same for places like Vail, Snowmass, Aspen, and Crested Butte. When the system gets here to the metro area, we'll see our temperatures falling tomorrow after a high of 55. We'll get a chance for rain and snow, but less than half an inch here. More accumulation possible to our south and to our west, Kyle, tomorrow.
Thank you, Becky. All right, so forget those picture-perfect holidays. Everybody fakes those for social media anyway. It's the thought that counts, and that is why we celebrate your holiday fails. Stacy in Breckenridge wrote in to say that her mom one time found nuts and bolts under the dining room table. Her dad just brushed off the discovery till they set down Thanksgiving dinner and the table collapsed. Then there was David, who told us that his grandmother would always clean off the turkey with soapy water and a washcloth before it went in the oven. Grandpa was carving the bird one year when he called out, "Naomi, I found your washcloth." So, you know how Small Business Saturday is tomorrow? Fun fact.
Hi, how's it going?
Small Business Saturday was started by a huge corporation that profits when you spend your money at small businesses. It was an American Express thing. But you know what? Those small businesses do well, too, in that scenario. So it's all good in the neighborhood. Small business is booming in Colorado these days, employing almost half of our private workforce, more than 1 million people.
Your money goes so far when you shop at a local business. When you buy a shirt here, it goes directly to our employees. It goes right into our bank account, then to our employees, and then they're spending at other local businesses. So we're really keeping the money in the community.
And let's hear it for women-owned small businesses. 12.3 million of them in the U.S. generated over $1.8 trillion in 2018. Those stats put together by, you know it, American Express. Crossed a line, Black Friday edition. Have I mentioned that stray shopping carts are the bane of Steve Stager's existence? And we catch up with Coloradans who wouldn't be in a mall today if it was 100% off.
You could tell me that stuff is all free and I still wouldn't go.
You will find them opting outside today. And that's where we found your good news. Next.
Photography, as I say, is just one of the underpinnings of who I am. It keeps me going, and it's very crucial to my mindset as a creative person. My name's Scott Wilson. I'm a Colorado landscape and wildlife photographer. So you can imagine we made our dream move to Colorado in July 2015, and it really was a very exciting time for our family. Children settled very quickly. My wife loves it here, and we really thought we'd made it. And then 1 year later, we had the awful news that I had stage 4 colon cancer, having had a colonoscopy, and that was the diagnosis. So for that moment, you feel like life has stopped. Of course, the reality is life hasn't stopped. And one of the things I've tried to develop through this is a really positive mindset, and that once you have had that diagnosis, the healing can begin. So after surgery to my colon, I had about 13 centimetres removed, and then started a 40-week programme of chemotherapy. That's when my oncologist told me that one of the side effects of the drug that I was on is a very severe photosensitivity. So basically had to avoid sunlight while I was going through chemotherapy. And it was like being punched twice. You know, you've got cancer, oh, and by the way, you can't shoot. And I thought, well, that's not how I want to live my life. So I just looked for different ways to shoot. And then over the course of a year, I found I'd built a portfolio, and I talked to a really good friend about, I've got this idea. Do you think this would work as a fundraising book? And he said, go for it. And to date, we've managed to raise $36,000. The book's purpose, if you like, was more than raising money. It was actually getting people to talk about cancer. And it's just so fulfilling to know that my images and my story have in some small way helped people.
So many good stories in this state, people doing amazing things during very, very difficult times. This state is filled with those stories of overcoming adversity.
A special Black Friday edition of You've Crossed a Line reminds us it's not just the drivers. Can we talk about the shoppers who drop carts in the middle of lots? Or how about this? next viewer named Alice spotted this one. It is touching the corral at the King Supers in Arvada. You can do better, people. This is a personal pet peeve of our Steve Steger.
Thank you, Kyle. My goodness, that was close, yet so far. I've been fighting the good fight for shopping cart returns for a couple of years now, and perhaps the holiday season is as good a time as any for a little reminder. I don't like to judge people, don't do it too often, but I will judge you if you don't take the time to return your shopping cart before driving away. It's the equivalent of leaving your underwear in the middle of your bedroom because you don't have to have the time to walk it over to the hamper. It's the same as picking up your dog's poo on the trail and leaving it in a little bag on the side of the trail. And I know what you're thinking, you non-cart returners, you. You're saying, Steve, you're putting someone out of a job. I leave my cart in the middle of the parking space because it gives the grocery store employees something to do. Well, I talk to grocery store employees, and they will tell you that their job is to bring those carts back from the corral, not from the corners of the parking lot. Not returning your cart is like tossing a sandwich wrapper out your car window because there wasn't a trash can in your car. We could do better than that, Colorado. We should do better than that. Be a shopping cart warrior. Next time you see a cart in the middle of the parking lot, put it back. If you see a person who left theirs there, lock eyes with them while you put their cart back.
Geez.
That'll give them the message Adele taught me that one. Don't be lazy, and we won't judge you. Kyle.
You're like an angry old man, but you're not old yet.
I've been working on the old man thing for a while.
Yeah. If you see the shopping cart thing, because Steve wants to see this, email next@9news.com or get our attention with the hashtag #HeyNext.
Or a picture of you pushing it back, pushing someone else's back.
Do that too.
I'd rather walk to the top of that on all fours rather than have to be in a Black Friday sale right now.
Tell us how you really feel, and tell us your good news too. And we will light the lights from Civic Center Park next.
Those triceps popping.
Fitness is everything.
I know, my biceps.
To Angela Marquez. She squeezes in a workout every day and always makes time for a gym pic.
Post at PR Fitness Studio,
which is posted to Instagram in no time.
You'll see a lot of workout pictures here.
She isn't showing off.
This was also my cancer anniversary.
She's sharing survival.
I also look at it as I'm alive, because that was 11 years ago that day.
The day Angela learned she had cervical cancer. Doctors removed lymph nodes in her pelvis to save her life.
I survived cancer. I beat cancer, and now I have this.
This is her new battle.
Yes, it is in my left leg.
The left leg is much bigger than the right.
One Olga Belskaya fights too.
It's an ongoing battle.
They both suffer from lymphedema.
It feels heavy.
A debilitating condition.
Oh my goodness.
That lasts a lifetime.
Lymphedema is the abnormal accumulation of protein in the tissues, so the area underneath the skin and above our muscles.
Angela and Olga are treated by Vicki Rell, a woman who is dedicated to treatment and awareness.
I do about 45 minutes of stretching of the skin.
An occupational therapist at UC Health.
This is short stretch compression bandaging.
Some people are born with lymphedema, but for many, like Olga, the condition is triggered after lymph nodes are surgically removed to treat cancer.
You have kind of, if you will, a mechanical failure of that section of the body.
This chronic condition chips away at her sense of normalcy.
It's full of liquid and your shoes doesn't fit, your clothes doesn't fit, and you just don't want to deal with it anymore.
That's why Angela's Instagram feed,
the Instagram page, is Funky Lymphedema,
has a deeper purpose.
That's my leg.
It informs, it inspires.
We call it the mini incline.
Those who search for answers.
I want to change the image of the pictures maybe that they see when they do Google lymphedema and feel that it's gloom and doom and negative.
There have been frightening things in the news lately, familiar things for many Coloradans. Check in with your family and friends. If you or someone you know needs mental health support or emotional help, it's available right this second. A real person ready to provide real problem solving. Call or text Colorado Crisis Services. Let's take care of ourselves and each other. There was a time when changing your mind was shameful. No, it's not. It's a sign of intelligence. That's something that I try to do on this program, is to challenge my own preconceptions. I try to challenge your preconceptions, and maybe at the end we can expand our view of things a little bit. If cramming into stores trunk to tail with other shoppers isn't your jam, perhaps you decide to opt outside today. That's the Black Friday alternative, where our Corky Scholl went in search of your good news.
Man, right here, the scenery is fantastic.
The hike was awesome. The hike was awesome.
It feels very nice. It's a very relaxing and kind of wholesome feeling.
Hi, my name's Patty Doherty, and I'm from Dallas, Texas. And this is Smokey.
My name is Frank. I'm from Austin, Texas, and I'm here visiting a good friend of ours, like a fourth brother to us.
And we traveled here for the Thanksgiving holiday to spend it with my daughter and her boyfriend.
And yeah, it's just good news because I got to hang out with my family that I don't get to see all the time, and I got to see him, and it felt like the whole family was together. And
I am very thankful. I'm very thankful. I have a great job in Dallas, and I've got two beautiful daughters. One lives in California, and one lives here in Colorado.
Well, right now we decided to we got some food, and we decided to come out here and enjoy the good views.
Oh yeah, it definitely beats shopping. I would much rather be on the side of a mountain than in a store.
You can't pay me enough to go to those stores right now.
I have fought the crowds, gotten up at 4 in the morning and stood in lines and did the whole Black Friday thing, and I'm done with that.
You could tell me that stuff is all free and I still wouldn't go.
And I just am tired of fighting crowds, and I do a lot of shopping online now.
I'd rather walk to the top of that on all fours rather than have to be in a Black Friday sale right now. And even the next one behind it if I had to, if those were the choices.
You and me, brother. I buy these things online. So take those holiday plans and toss them. It is a lesson in going with the flow, even for planning enthusiasts like myself. And we will light the lights for the holiday season next.
Need some support for your health goals? It's tough to do it alone. Whether you're trying to lose weight or just tracking your fitness goals, 9Health has a convenient tool for busy people. Go to 9healthcare.org and click eTools. Get the power of technology and the personal touch of a lifestyle coach.
You don't have to do it all by yourself. For less than your weekly fancy coffee treat, you get a personalized plan right in your pocket.
Go to 9healthcare.org and click on eTools. Find the right program for you.
I'm Gary Shapiro, sharing Colorado stories. 9 News everywhere.
Like lightning on the Great Plains, a spark ignites the imagination of a young 4-H member named Ryan. As a teenager, Ryan explores the wonders of nature. As a young man, he experiments, discovering new possibilities. As a scientist, Ryan uses a new technology to detect an invisible tumor in a little girl's eye. The 4-H commitment of fostering 1 million new scientists and engineers is being embraced by companies and universities around the country. With their help, 4-H is growing the next generation of great thinkers like Ryan. 4-H, 1 million new scientists, 1 million new ideas.
From Maine to Maui, thousands of high school students across the country are getting in on the action by volunteering in their communities.
It's great helping others, and it feels good too. Are you in? Whoa!
Anyone can do it. All it takes is a little time. Are you in?
Action teams of high school students are joining Volunteers of America and Major League Baseball players to help train and inspire the next generation of volunteers.
It's easy to start an action team at your school, so you too can get in on the action.
Are you in? Get in on the action at actionteam.org.
So just a heads up, next is a touch shorter tonight because we're going to take you live to Civic Center Park to light the lights at the Denver City and County building to start the holiday season. But how did your Thanksgiving plans turn out? I'm starting to think that the problem with a lot of holiday plans is the planning part. So we had kind of an unexpected Thanksgiving at our place this week. Originally thought, it was just going to be me and my wife and our baby girl because I had to work last night anyway. But then we added a few more people and then a few more, some family, some friends, a couple of people I'd never met. 17 people all told at our house yesterday. It wasn't what we planned. It was better than that because it wasn't bogged down in perfect planning. We had left room at our table for the unexpected. So when a bunch of our guests pulled out the patio furniture photo-themed shirts for Thanksgiving at my house, well, I guess that was perfect too. So as you're making plans for the rest of your holiday season, perhaps consider a new tradition, something unplanned. All right, let's head down to the Denver City and County building now to light the lights for the season, and I will see you next time. Subscribe to the next YouTube channel and I'll buy you a beer. Am I actually buying them a beer? This could be a very poor idea. We need some terms and conditions. Offer subject to terms and conditions.